Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our next live stream. I'll be your producer for this session. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer live. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Reactor channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our speakers for today. Thank you for joining.
Hello, everyone.
Hello and welcome.
Okay, this is going to be a fun one. In this session, we're going to be talking about how the lovely community contests work and how they can be beginner friendly and how they can really help you learn Microsoft Fabric, Power BI, SQL, and all that fun stuff. So to get into it, we have some introductions. My name is Taylor. I'm a Fabric Community super user. I'm a user group leader for the Fabric Discord user group, and I'm a data services lead at Share It International. We also have Philippa.
Hello, I'm Philippa Burgess, and I just got recently offboarded after 2.5 years as a Microsoft Student Ambassador. Absolutely love that program, but I graduated. So now I'm stepping into the role of co-lead for the Microsoft Fabric Location Intelligence and Security User Group, and just a really passionate Microsoft Fabric, Esri, and security evangelist. And you can find me on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And I love just being a part of this community. It's such a fun community, and as much as we'll get into it today. I want to say I'm sort of cast in the role of, let's say, early career beginner as I kind of come finishing up my graduate studies, even though I'm sort of resetting my career. And Taylor, you really come to this as a data professional, and I would say contests are for experts too. And so we'll get into that concept as well. So everybody's welcome here, beginner or expert. We're going to really get into all of the value and opportunities.
Yeah, it should be a really fun time. We also have a couple other people to introduce. We've got our lovely moderators.
We love our moderators. Mods, keep the chat going and let us introduce Clarissa Morales, Credit Union Fabric User Group Leader. Someone I've gotten to know from the community and just amazing, and so happy to be able to collaborate. She is a business intelligence manager at Sun Community Federal Credit Union, and you can find her on LinkedIn. And we also have Dr. Gomathi S., Microsoft Data Platform and Business Application MVP, and also find her on LinkedIn and YouTube. So excited to have such a great community today. Great mods leading the chat. So definitely drop in your questions and engage. We want to make this as interactive as possible. Always a benefit of joining the live stream. And you can also sort of scan the chat if you're catching the replay. Lots of great links are posted there throughout. All right, here we go. 60 days of data and AI powered by the community. So we are in the Summer Fabric Data Days 2026. And if you haven't already, make sure you get over and register at Data Days. Lots of free certification vouchers are being, this is a qualifying event, and also over 100 community-led events, as well as the official ones here on the Microsoft Reactor channel. So just a great way to learn, engage, grow, connect, build your community, build your skills. We're all here for it. So excited to be part of Data Days. I know both Taylor and I both have user groups, and I know our user group has had now 5,000 people sign up for our user group events alone, which to me is incredible. And that just speaks to the incredible power of this community.
Yeah, Data Days is fantastic. We're coming towards the end of it now, but it's always super fun to participate in every year. Speaking of Data Days, there's another session coming up here in a couple of days that is Data Days Lightning Talks. This is going to be a bunch of really short, like 5-minute talks from various people around the community. So show up, and it should be a really good time if you want to hear lots of varying perspectives about Fabric and different capabilities.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'll be participating in that one too. And so the certifications we were just talking about, there's the DP 600, DP 700, and now we have the new AI-enabled SQL, which is DP 800. So get certified for free. Those vouchers are available. And you can get to that link through the Data Days link or directly through this DD/cert. And so definitely encourage everybody to take advantage of that great opportunity, and the community definitely would like to see as many people certified up in Fabric as possible. So, we want to be part of making that happen.
Yeah. Also part of Data Days and the general theme of contests, there's the Power BI Data Visual Championship. So if this session sort of motivates you to get started with these community contests and to throw your hat in, round 3 started today. The Power BI Data Visual Championship is an amazing opportunity to sort of throw your hat in and build something fun. And something that I'd like to highlight is that a couple of the finalists from last year almost didn't enter because they didn't think they could do it. And turns out they could. So don't be scared to enter, just throw in an entry and see what happens.
Which leads us a bit to the calendar of events. So we have gone through so much exciting stuff. All those replays are here. So if you're getting prepped for DP 800, definitely check out those sessions. There's lots of also content available on the Reactor channel for DP 600, DP 700. And now we're rounding it out. So this week we have our day-to-day lightning talk. So join us on Thursday. And then on August 6th, we'll be Get Certified. And that's exam day, what to expect and how to pass. And also be sure to check out the whole schedule because, again, hundreds of community events are still happening between now and the end of Fabric Data Days. So lots of exciting stuff there to get involved with and get connected. And now we'll jump in.
So much fun content. But what are we here about today? So today we're going to be covering a lot about the community contests and why you should get involved. We're going to be breaking the myths that you need to be an expert to participate in them. We'll be touching on why you should do them, why they help you both with your knowledge growth and your career growth. And then we'll get into some tips for data viz contests. And lastly, we'll finish up with the Q&A and some next steps.
Fantastic. So we want to hear from you about your experience with contests. And then, of course, we're going to be sharing ours. But really wanted to start with you. Have you entered contests? Have you entered once? Are you a regular participant? And then let's take that further. Have you participated in Fabric contests? Because there are a lot of them, and they have a lot that have come around. And it's great because those people get to be highlighted at FabCon, both in the spring and in the fall. So really great opportunities to be recognized by this community. And there'll be many more to come. So we want to get you really excited about the opportunity to be part of those, but want to hear from you. So it's kind of a two-part question. One is, what is your experience with contests in general? I also come from the cybersecurity world, so we love our capture the flags and our hackathons. And also in the data world, there's so many opportunities to do data projects. And as a student, I'll say my professors often said, this is the cleanest data you will ever see. And then when I did my internship with the US Geological Survey, I didn't get clean data. I got a lot of raw data, and I was like, oh yeah, that's what they were talking about. So it's cool about some of these contests, especially in data, is they give you really clean data sets a lot of times. So it really is the focus is on the visualization, the presentation, not the hunt, find, clean sort. So it really is a great opportunity to sort of have something that's really contained. And as I've always thought, as myself as a graduate student, just trust the process, trust the learning transformation, and just go with it. And it always worked out. And as a student, I really had that growth mindset and that contest, participate, be recognized mindset. And that's why so I just love to hear from you in the chat. Please drop in what your experience with in contests or hackathons, capture flags in general, and then your participation in the Fabric community. And again, we are really just want to hear about what you've done and how you've gotten to play with us and really get you excited about the opportunity to do more in the future. I just graduated, so being on deadline exams, I have yet to do a fabric one, but I'm so excited to, and I promise I will be absolutely entering in the fall. I'm going to be definitely in all of these opportunities.
Yeah, they're always super fun to get into and to enter. I've entered a few of them, and I've won a few of them, as we'll get into later in this session. I see lots of people in the chat saying that they've never entered a contest. So now's your chance. There's a couple of contests that are live right now. There's DataViz stuff that's live, and the DataViz World Championship. Throw a hat in and see what happens. It's always fun.
Well, we have the right audience here. If you have never been part of it, we really want to get you all the details, all the best practices, and just all the opportunities that can come from being part of it. And if you've been part of winning them or entering them, and you also see that they're amazing for building your portfolio. I'm in the process of getting my GISP certification, so which is GIS professional, and a portfolio is a really big part of it. And so contests can be really great for portfolios. I'm also in the process of interviewing for roles, and they also want to see portfolios. So I think even, we talk a lot about, and we'll talk about how great they are for beginners, but I also see for professionals, they have a lot of value as well. And Taylor, I'm really excited to hear your perspective on that too.
Yeah, let's get into it. So I think we're going to get started with a little bit of a game. So this is going to be an interactive element. We're going to get you to put a comment in the chat to give us a reaction. And we have a couple of myths here, or maybe they're reality. Who knows? We'll find out. So we're going to go through, and we have 4 statements that are either myth or fact, and you're going to guess whether or not they're a myth. But before we get right into that, we're going to talk a little bit about who thinks they need to be an expert.
Yes. So, yeah, do you need to be an expert to enter a contest? Or have you ever looked at something and thought, I could never do that, or that's not for me, not something that I, have the time for, or what's the benefit to me? What would I get out of this? Why should I do that? Or this is for someone else. And I actually think even we could say who needs to be an expert. I keep kind of playing with this theme of sometimes you're an expert and you're like, why would I need this? Or you're a beginner and you're like thinking that's for experts. I think everybody's kind of pointing across the fence saying maybe that's for someone else, not me. And I think we're here to say, no, let's myth bust this. This is absolutely for everyone. And there are so many valuable just takeaways you're going to get, whether you're a student, early career professional, or you are an established professional, but still are looking for some things maybe outside of your core role that show what your skills are, building that portfolio, and just keeping you engaged in visibility and recognition within the community.
Yeah. So
So I
let's
think we
get
can move on to so we just always wanted to hear from the audience.
Myth. So our first myth or fact is that contest winners are experts. Let's get some comments in the chat. Do you think this is true, or do you think this is a myth? I see lots of people saying myth, myth, myth in the chat. And those people are correct. Most contest winners start as beginners. The contests are a great way to build up your skills and to familiarize yourself with pieces of the platform that maybe you don't get to work with every day, or maybe you just need an excuse to dive into something new, something fun. So don't be scared. If you're not an expert, no one is. Myth number 2.
You need lots of free time. I have to say, as someone who has embraced coding and also embraced vibe coding, what's really great about it is we used to have Stack Overflow and Google to search, but now we are able to also ask for help. Well, I would say most of the contests, though, have very clear instructions. And so you can just really just follow along, and they guide you and they lead you and they show you how to get the learning transformation. and where to go to learn the parts and pieces and the scope. So it's really easy, and that some of them can be done in an hour. Some of them can be done maybe over a weekend or in an evening. Some may take a little bit more time, but I think if you just jump right in there and look at the instructions, you'll realize that it's not probably nearly as hard as you thought it could be, and that you can pace yourself and just, block out the time and absolutely get it done. So do you need lots of free time to do these? I think we can answer that is no, you don't. Most of them are created to be very accessible and get it done in a way that creates a level playing field for everybody, so that it's accessible. That's really the thing, is that, and that it should be super clean. And if you need help, we all have lots of resources now to get the help we need.
Yeah, I saw a lovely comment in the chat fly by that I really liked. It's that you need consistency, not a lot of time. So just getting in the habit of building something, of being able to quickly build a data viz or enter a contest, and just building that muscle memory, that consistency is the important part, not just making sure you have hours in the day to sit down and do it.
Yep. And even if you're not sure, I mean, I think if you can just time block, say 15, 20 minutes to say, I'm going to look closely at this contest and see if the timing works for me, see if see what's about, see what the deadline is. And if this fits for me, great. Then I can just time block it out over the next week or 2 weeks and knock it out and get it done. I also know as a student, we love deadlines. So it's really, I love about these is there's a deadline.
Yeah, and that brings us nicely into myth number 3. You need to know everything. I see there's some people in the chat that have already said that this is very much a myth, and I have to agree. The contests are how we learn things. They're an excuse to dive into a topic that you haven't dived into before, or to accelerate your learning. You don't need to be an expert at them to enter the contest, and most of the contest entries aren't experts at the thing that they're entering on.
I think they remind me a lot of just school assignments. Like, you're not supposed to be the expert when you do the school assignment. You're supposed to be in the right department, in the right major, sort of studying something you're obviously interested in, but you're there for the learning transformation. And a lot of contests are designed for that. So not only are they there to say, here's the learning, here's where you go to get the skill you need, and then here's how you apply it. You may not need as much time in the learning of it, but you can certainly, you'll have everything you need.
Yeah, and it really helps put much in line with your school analogy, that structure around this is your task, this is what it's due, so that you're not just dragging your feet trying to think of something to start. That's given to you through the contest. You have a task to do with clear instructions. If there's a data set, you have usually a clean enough data set. Sometimes they're not clean intentionally because real data isn't clean. But you have data to work with, you've got clear instructions, and you have a clear deadline, so that you can really motivate yourself to build it, to do what you need to do, rather than just procrastinating until you think you have the perfect idea.
Yeah. And I would say if you don't get a clean data set, it's because that's the task. It includes, but a lot of them are really clean data sets, because that's not the task. The focus is on, here's something, go, but you can visualize it. So if you have to spend time with it, cleaning the data, that's because that's part of the task. But they really try to make it as plug and play and very focused on one specific deliverable that you're demonstrating. So great portfolio pieces too.
Yeah, and now for myth number 4.
If I don't win, I've failed. This kind of reminds me a little bit about taking certifications, because now I'm in that process of getting all my Microsoft certifications. And I will admit, I have failed exams. But I care, but I don't care, because I've been fortunate enough to get some of these free vouchers. And sometimes I end up scheduling it right at the 11th hour. And I've walked into a couple of these blindly or cold, and I've not passed. I've gotten really close to passing, but I don't care, because it's not on my university permanent record. It's not like going into an exam that you are going, that now it's forever. Everybody's going to see that. So I do really well on university exams, but I've been okay. And I think that's the same thing. There's so much learning that, first of all, you're learning, you're exploring something new. It's another reason I love blogging. I blog because when I blog, I give something focused attention, and then I learn about it. So I blog about the things I want to learn about. And same thing for you do not fail if you do not win, because there's literally no failure. So I will go back and take that Microsoft exam again, and I will get that certification. And same thing is, if you didn't win, you still have a portfolio piece. You still have the learning. You still have that muscle memory now that it gets easier and easier every time you do it. So yeah, you can't win if you don't play. So I definitely encourage, come play.
Couldn't agree more. The real outcome of these community contests is that you learn something. And as long as you learn something, you haven't failed.
Yep. And also, let's say also connecting and networking. If you're at a FabCon and you talk to somebody who was a finalist or was a winner and you participated in that contest, you're going to have so much more to talk about that person with, because you went through the process and now you have something just in common, because you can talk about it and what you both learned through the process.
Yeah, and now that brings us nicely into the slide where contests accelerate learning. Contests are, as we've mentioned, a tool to sort of jumpstart your idea, your task on a specific topic. So they give you the instructions, they give you clear guidelines, clear deadlines, and more often than not, clean data, and sort of remove those barriers that would prevent you from being able to learn on your own, and just make it an even playing field. They make it really nice and easy for you to jump in, get started, and not have to worry about the nitty gritty of what exactly do I build, or when exactly do I need to have it done by, and dragging your feet.
And I keep bringing it back to the school analogies, because in school you go and you have your lecture and you have your readings and you have your courses and your coursework, just from let's talk about this, let's read about this, let's watch a video about this. And then you have your homework assignment where you get to actually build it. And I say this in terms of my studies were related to data science and GIS and cybersecurity. So there's a lot of build that you do. You actually have to code, or you actually have to do the geoprocessing and the data viz. So with this gives you that sort of bite-sized assignment. It comes with a deadline. It comes with a scope. It comes with a challenge that meant to have a clear before and after. And so you've got the contest challenge, you get to build something, and you get to learn something really fast. And you have a piece in your portfolio, and now you have something more you can talk about with the community, creating, just even more of that sense of connection and belonging, which we're all here for. So knowledge sticks when you use it, and especially with something like data science and coding. And of course, I'm really into sort of the mapping and all of that. It's the easiest way to learn it and security is the easiest way to learn it is to do it. And this way you don't fall into deep tech holes, which I have fallen into, because it's meant to actually be sort of quick, bite-sizable opportunities to express that. And
and
that
something
comes
that's
into the next phase of it.
Something that is really important here on this slide, I think, is that you learn so much better when you're actually building something. You can watch 100 YouTube videos of someone else building something, and then when it comes time for you to actually sit down and do it, you're lost. Whereas if you actually build it yourself and understand the muscle memory and how to go about building it rather than watching someone build it, then you're just so much better at doing it.
Yeah, and it reminds me also of labs. Like when you do labs that have been
Yes.
created, you're one of thousands, tens of thousands of people going through it. So you know that this learning outcome works, that they've clearly have a transformation in mind, start to finish, and that's amazing. I did see something in chat I really want to comment on. So I'm actually in the process of putting together a cohort with Esri leadership and Microsoft leadership, so we can really continue to build our group of evangelists for the Esri, which is the mapping software that's now integrated with Fabric, which I'm so excited about. And I saw someone in the chat say, hey, I also am certified in GIS and in Microsoft. So come hang out with us. We want to build a cohort of people who can be evangelists for that. So yeah, then this is again why we're all here to do all these contests. Is also it's about community building, and it's about opportunities we can create together. And so the learning loop of a challenge is you do the the challenge, and then you get to try it. If you get stuck, there's lots of resources to help you get unstuck. You're learning, you're improving, you're sharing, and then you kind of repeat the process. And so all together, that just makes it just fun, easy. I love deadlines. Deadlines are my favorite things, and after many years in graduate school, I do realize that things that come with a deadline just get done faster than things that don't. So that's what I love about, another thing I just love about contests is the structure of them.
Yeah, me too. Especially once I sort of got out of that university mindset and into my professional life, the motivation for actually sitting down and doing something that isn't just what I'm assigned to do at work sort of disappeared after a couple of years. So these contests and this loop allows us to have that structure, that A, the problem, and B, the deadline, to actually build something instead of just pushing it off till next week every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, deadlines can be our friends.
They can
Deadline.
be. Speaking of deadlines, why are contests different than personal projects? And the reason is the deadline. Most personal projects die because nothing is pushing them forward. These community contests and challenges give you enough structure so that you can keep moving and keep making progress without limiting what you can build. So I have a question for the chat. Have you helped or gotten help from the community during a contest? And how did that go?
Let's see. I see about connected. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
See some comments about connecting with people around the world and how that's helped. I see some comments on us changing people's perspectives on deadlines. We love that. I see that community is everything. They've gotten so much feedback anytime they participate in anything. Yeah, the fabric community is amazing.
Yeah, that was the one that I was just saying. Absolutely. And if you think about credentials like MVP, for example, Microsoft's most valuable professional, they want to see that you participate in community, that you volunteer, that you share, that you're visible, that you're learning, that you're an expert in all of those things. And so that's even another benefit you get from just being part of these things and volunteering your time and your expertise and showing up. And every time I show up, I get something incredibly valuable from it that I wouldn't have even clocked going into it that would even have been a possible outcome. I just do it for the joy of doing it, and then cool things happen. So the goal isn't to win. That is definitely the secret. The goal is to participate and to build something.
So the goal is to build. The goal is to have a challenge, build something, add it to your portfolio, and just get used to being able to build visualizations, build these contest entries. And then if you do happen to win, that's the bonus. It's always nice, but winning isn't the goal. The goal is to learn. Learning is the goal.
Absolutely. And you build something, you get a new muscle memory in that particular tool or workflow. You gain confidence in what you're able to do. You have a portfolio piece. It's fun. So we're going to talk about our own stories of what we've gotten out of contests. And we also want to hear your story.
Yeah, so let's jump in. First, I'll share some stories, and then we'll go from there. So I started entering community contests with the data viz challenges. They were easy, quick, and allowed me to get an understanding of how the community contests are run, how they work, how you can enter them on the forums, and all that fun stuff. Never won any of those, but it was always a fun experience to have this little challenge, spend 20 minutes throwing together a visual and putting it out there for the community to see. Then I started entering some more involved contests. The Fabric Extensibility Toolkit contest was the first one that I put real effort into. And for me, that contest wasn't just a fun entry. I mean, it was, but it was also more than that because it was an opportunity to build something that my team would actually use on a day-to-day basis. At the time, I was working in healthcare, and we needed better ways to monitor and manage our nightly ETL and data engineering processes that were running in Fabric. And so this contest gave me the sort of idea, the opportunity to build something to manage that. So I had a problem that needed to be solved. I do have a computer science background, so I had some of the skills that were needed to solve that. And the contest gave me an excuse to start working on that. Linking this back to our first myth from earlier that contest winners are experts, not true. Prior to entering this contest, I knew nothing about the extensibility toolkit at all. I had previously looked at the original workload development framework, but I was never even able to get that compiled, let alone make anything functional from it. The new extensibility toolkit that came out that this contest was based on was surprisingly easy to use compared to the old one, and I was able to have the Hello World example up and running in about 15 minutes. That also links back nicely to our third myth from earlier that you don't need to know everything in order to enter. This contest gave me a reason to dive way deeper than I had ever before about the Fabric REST APIs, specifically around real-time intelligence items like activator, event streams, and event houses, and how those are created, how you can integrate them together. And I also learned some of the intricacies around how Fabric items detect changes and how they save state. For the Fabric Extensibility Toolkit contest, when it came time to submit, I almost didn't submit it. I was really nervous because what I had produced wasn't done. It wasn't ready, it wasn't finished, it wasn't polished. I had all these ideas of features that I had wanted to add that I never got to. They weren't implemented. And there was a whole lot of proof of concept code that was in there that still makes me shudder when I look at it because it is horrible. Turns out that didn't matter. The contest wasn't about the final output. It was about the learning journey and the skill development. And it was a really fun contest to enter looking back. That was the first community contest that I won. The next contest, I had a much more casual attitude in place. I spent about 20 minutes mapping out a graph database for the Fabric Discord server that I run with a couple of other MVPs as part of our user group, and the different relationships that exist within Discord just as a platform. This was the ontology contest. Once I got the nodes and relationships mapped out, I spent 5 minutes sticking it into the ontology playground web editor and submitted it. This was far more casual to me than the extensibility toolkit contest. All of the stress of it has to be perfect, it has to do everything that I had intended it to do initially, had melted away after I learned what the real goal of these contests were. So if there's one thing for you to take away from my story, it's that the contests aren't about winning. They're not about knowing everything. They're about giving yourself the motivation to learn something new. Every contest that I entered pushed me to explore an area of Fabric that I probably wouldn't have taken the time to learn otherwise. Sometimes I built something useful for my team. Sometimes I just learned a new thing. And sometimes I spent 20 minutes just experimenting with an idea that never went anywhere. And that's fine. That was fun. Every one of those experiences made me better and built my knowledge of the Fabric platform. So if you're waiting until you're an expert or until you have the perfect idea, you're going to be waiting forever. Just pick something that interests you, build something that solves a problem you have, and submit what you've got. It's all just a learning opportunity. You might win, you might not, but regardless, you'll walk away knowing more than you did when you started.
And I love hearing from you as a working professional, because we talked about, are these for experts, but also let's talk about, are they for professionals? Because somebody who is an established professional, and I say, well, I have a job, and why would I do this as a working professional? What's in it for me? Isn't this more for early career or beginners? And I think you really speak to the value for professionals.
Yeah, and the one thing I always love to come back to for the working professional is, in order to excel in this field, especially in the Fabric platform that is changing so much, you need to stay on top of what's changing about the platform, are the new features, what's possibly going away. And if you're just doing what's assigned to you at your job, you won't do that. You won't be able to stay up to date with all the new things or look about how new features in Fabric could streamline your operations or could implement cost savings in your organization or resource savings. So these contests and just generally being curious about new things in Fabric and about the community have really allowed me to both stay up to date with Fabric and with what's going on, and not just rely on the couple of areas that we utilize at my job.
And I actually think, just a comment on that, is I think we also need to all appreciate how intentional contests are, how
Yes.
well thought out they are, how well designed they are, how well presented and prepared they are, meaning that an organization is not going to create a contest, manage a contest, create the whole learning platform and arc of it if there wasn't something that they wanted to call attention to of, hey, we want people to know about this new tool, this new rollout, this whatever the contest is about. So it part of it's about expanding your own skill set, because they obviously want us all to know how to use what exists better. But oftentimes they really are drawing attention to something that they want us to know about that we might not know about, just generally speaking, not just because you're a beginner. But exactly like you said, the platform keeps evolving and changing. There are new tools, there's new things, and they want to draw our attention to them. So even if
Yeah.
you don't do the contest, sometimes just reading what the contest is about will tell you a lot about their thought process about what's important. Which leads to, I want to say, contest wins can also be resume gold and social media gold dust. So here are some of the ones that I have been part of. These are kind of more coming at this right now as in my role as a Microsoft Student Ambassador. I won AI projects. For the first part of my time there, we would do quarterly projects, and then we kind of shifted from developer relations over to global skilling, and our sort of mandate changed. But at that time, I won ERA and a Wildland Fire Azure AI project. So those were two different quarterly projects. So 6 months of my life. So these were much larger in scope. They were done over a quarter, and they were built in teams. So a group of students would get together, and they were kind of international cohorts. Really fun to work with the other students and have that acknowledgement. But I'm now sort of as I apply for jobs, and I'm able to say Microsoft winner, and I'm able to say Esri winner, as I also won the sort of best communication using maps for geospatial insights for the Jasper Fire in the Black Hills of South Dakota. And that was part of my internship with the U.S. Geological Survey, working in wildland fire support. And then I also participated in a NASA Globe data hackathon, and I got on the advanced track an honorable mention, and you get to put NASA on your resume. And then I'm also part of the USGIF, which is my degree is a USGIF accredited degree, which is the U.S. Geospatial Intelligence Foundation, which is kind of the public-facing association for NGA, which is the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. So one of the intelligence agencies like the CIA or the NSA, you have NGA. And I just presented a student poster, and I'll show you that student poster and the work that led up to it. So you can see some of this stuff also ends up being an iterative process, and we get to build on things. So I took my internship and I expanded into an Esri story map competition for the LA Geospatial Summit. So all of the things kind of build on each other. And then also with social media, when you are even just participating and being part of it, gets to be something you can talk about. And then if you're getting placed as an honorable mention or a winner, more that you can talk about, or just even celebrating the other people who won, create social media content and engagement. So lots that we can do there by paying attention to contests, being part of contests. So if you're seeing a contest, great thing you can amplify to your community, whether or not you're even participating in it, just to let them know it's happening. And again, celebrating the people who win, celebrating your own participation. And you can even shout out about it before the end winners are announced. Just the fact that you got your entry in is something we can all be excited to celebrate with you. And so that's part of my story. So I'm just a big fan of saying just keep showing up. I would say everything that has happened for me, a big part of it is a combination of just keep showing up and working really hard to be very technically competent. And so I'm always challenging myself and just kind of keep pushing what I'm learning and then the applications of that. All
Yeah, I'd
right.
have to completely agree with that. Just staying involved is so important.
Absolutely. We learn from each other, we motivate each other, and let's talk about how creators learn and grow.
Yeah, so let's talk about growth.
Okay, so this is me, a little bit of my learning and growing. I just wanted to sort of, so on the left side of this, you've got 3 images that are just before. All these are just very simple data explorations that I had done. One is a heat, top left is like a heat map of where mining happens and where minerals are found in South America. Another one was just a visualization of the major cities in South America. The bottom one is completely just outlier of actually trying to play with 3D for looking at different variables and saying, well, what does that look if I sort of 3D that? And I was like, okay, that's a completely unusable image, but it was interesting to play with the 3D feature. And so these were all things that I did over 2024 and 25 of this topic, which is just data exploration. There was no real story. There was just things that I was kind of looking at and researching. And then later, when they made a call for story student poster, which is a contest, I submitted and I was able to evolve these visualizations and my research. And a cool story with this one is I actually worked with ChatGPT and Claude, but specifically Claude on this one was asking it to help me with some of my graphs. And when it created the graphs, because this was a student poster, so blown up into a very large poster size, that the graphs that you see there were really fuzzy. I could not get them to be clean. So I was like, how do I fix this? Because it's just not going to blow up. Even on when I did just a paper size sample, I could tell just how fuzzy it was. And I was like, this is not going to blow up well. So I asked Claude to help me write the notebook code so that I could bring it into Fabric, and then I could run that code in Fabric, and I could tell Fabric to make me really clean graphs, which it did, which I downloaded, which you now see in my poster. So even if you don't even know how to write your code in a Fabric notebook yet, we've got AI. So anyways, I then ended up with just absolutely pristine, clean graphs that I could put on my poster that had very high resolution, and that was adding Fabric to my workflow. So I used Esri, I used Fabric, and I used the Esri Wayback Machine for some of the satellite imagery. So, and then where did this go? I was invited to submit to Tearline with a couple of references from professors and people who are part of the NGA Tearline team saying, yes, you should absolutely submit this for publication and expand your research. And then I've also been now invited for multiple job offers, multiple opportunities to say you should apply for roles in geospatial intelligence and within the intelligence community. So these are things where you never know, one thing can lead to another. And I have all those applications out in the world right now. So I should know more by September.
Wow, best of luck on that. I think that really leads nicely into how creators can improve. So you don't, as we've mentioned numerous times throughout this presentation, you don't start off being the best. You start off, you have a starting point, You try to do something, you get feedback, you improve, and then it just circles. You keep doing that cycle until you end up with a really good result. So like Felipe mentioned, she started with some graphs that Claude helped her with that didn't really work all that well. They looked good, but they were small and they couldn't be blown up. So she got feedback, she improved, she changed up her approach a little bit, went through Fabric notebooks, and got to the point where she had something that was able to be published.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're very it's that I love that. See, try, repeat, get feedback, improve. It's all an iterative process. We just iterate. And I think we do that as data scientists anyways. It's all of an iterative process. And just contests just give us the little piece of candy to do that.
Yeah, and a really important thing about this loop to mention is that great creators aren't necessarily more talented. They've just done this more times. They've gone through this feedback loop more and have refined their output until it's great.
Yeah, and I want to say that for everybody. Like, I think there's always, I see, for example, I know in my own story, I was always tracked into arts and entertainment and media, which is why I'm very comfortable with public speaking. But I don't have any gift that anybody doesn't have. I've just probably maybe been on stage a few more times than other people. But I was never tracked into science or tech. Every time I raised my hand as a child for science or tech, I was always told, not you. So it was a big deal for me to go back to graduate school and say, I'm here to raise my hand for science and tech. So for me to be the only person ever to have an internship with a Hollywood talent agency after my undergrad and then have an internship with the US Geological Survey as part of my graduate studies was a big deal for me to say, I'm going to come here and own science and tech and then be evangelist for others to say, you can do science too. So that's what I said. I think these things just kind of push you into learning things that you might not have otherwise learned and just invite you deeper into communities that you might not think that you're part of, but you absolutely belong.
Yeah, and that brings us nicely into Nobody Learns Alone. And in spirit of that, we have a special guest here to talk a little bit about some tips and tricks for winning data viz entries. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, thank you Taylor, thank you Philippa. I am so inspired right now. To everyone here, hi everyone, my name is Lakshmi. I am a two-time Power BI Data Viz World Championship finalist. I am a data analyst at Missouri University of Science and Technology. So basically I play with Power BI every single day. And since Taylor and Philippa inspired us with their beautiful, inspiring stories, I'm here to talk about mine. So quick activity for everyone. So you see 4 reports on the screen, right? I want you to take a quick guess on which of the report do you think is mine? Which of the report do you think is what I made? I would love to know your answers. Perfect. When chat comes in, I want to tell you that all of the reports were made by me, Lakshmi. So the very first time, this is the very, very first dashboard I ever created for a contest. It had Disney data. So I am a Disney lover. I am a Power BI lover. So this was perfect. And please don't zoom in. Don't really look closely because I'm really embarrassed to show this. But I remember that when I created this report, right, I was like, oh my God, people are going to see this. Should I actually go ahead and submit it? I did it anyway. And at this moment, my confidence level was very, very low. And then I was like, let me improve. Got rid of the crazy background, worked a little bit on my spacing, toned down on my colors. But again, my confidence level was still very low. And then I leveled up. Do you see the glow up? I was like, let me just completely get rid of the background. Let's keep it very subtle. Let's reduce the colors, stick to the theme. So this is like Olympic dashboard. So let's stick to the theme. Let's add in more text, more annotations. My confidence level increased. And then I had a phase where I was into vertical reports, infographics. But do you see how the colors have become minimum now? There's white space. There's great content out there. My confidence level increased. And then I had like a major, I would say, glow up where I was like, okay, let me get into professional dashboards. And this is what I came up with. And I was really proud about this dashboard. my level increased. And then I came across Microsoft Power BI Database World Championship contests, where I participated almost every time. I think I just missed once. I've participated in all the contests, all the rounds. And able to now create beautiful reports like this, multi-page reports, less content, more clarity, more experiences, and now my confidence level is really high. The reason I want to tell you this story is these are the things that contests gave me. When people hear the word contest, the first thing you're like, oh my God, it's about winning. I need to get trophies. I need to get certificates. Even I was the same, right? Later, I realized that the real value was everything that I learned throughout the process. Contests helped me to build better dashboards, basically forced me to experiment, try new techniques, and improve my design skills throughout every round. I became good at storytelling. Contests helped me from building reports to actually building experiences for my end users. Every attempt helped me to learn, improve, and believe in my own self. And I think that's what I really needed. And better friends, when what started as a competition turned out as friendships. I see so many of my friends in the chat. I'm always happy to see them. We learn from each other, we support each other, and the best thing is we actually celebrate each other's wins. So that's something like really close to my heart. All these contests opened doors I never expected. They helped me to connect with amazing people. I had opportunities to speak at events, collaborate with people, and I also became a better person myself. So contests didn't just change the way I look at dashboarding or reporting or Power BI. It actually changed my entire career and my entire life. Weird things started happening when I started participating in contests, right? The very first unexpected opportunity was speaking. I was sharing about my dashboards, sharing about what I learned, and then people started asking me to talk about it. Please tell us your process, tell us your ideas and your experiences. And then I realized that knowledge becomes more valuable when you share it. Then came opportunities like becoming a Microsoft MVP. And honestly, it was a dream come true. This was not something I was chasing. I was simply contributing, helping others, answering questions. And recognition came as a result of consistently showing up for people and sharing what I love. Then comes the two-time finalist Power BI World Championships. This contest was another unexpected chapter, right? I started participating because I just wanted to see how far I can get. How can I push my own creativity? I wanted to learn, I wanted to challenge others. Then I realized that the biggest win was the growth that happened along the way. One of the most meaningful outcomes was finding a role where I get to use Power BI every day. So I got a job at Missouri University of Science and Technology. That's where I work. I'm a data analyst right there. Sometimes the work you do today basically opens the door you don't even know exists, right? Coming to networking. I grew up like from a very quiet person having 500 followers, most of them my friends, my colleagues, and then now I have a beautiful community of 25K followers. I would not say followers, I would say learners. So it helped me build my networking. Then I started writing on Medium because I realized that some lessons are worth documenting, and I love documenting. When you explain things to others, I feel like I learn myself as well. Writing on Medium helped me to organize my thoughts, share my journey beyond the dashboard. And then eventually I found myself helping communities. The same communities that helped me grow became communities where I could give back. So I'm talking to all of you on the Reactor channel, right? And I'm also a co-organizer of the Higher Education Power BI user group. So I could give back, organize events, share knowledge, and help others get started. And I think that's become like one of the most rewarding parts of the journey. If I have to quickly sum up everything, here are my biggest lessons for all of you. Not about dashboarding or Power BI, but just about showing up and participating in contests. First, don't wait until you're ready. Growth will happen along the way. Growth will happen by doing. And trust me, you learn much faster when you create something. Second, publish your work. Very important. Your work cannot create impact if nobody gets to see it. If you decide to participate in Database Championship Round 3, go ahead. Even if you have one page of report, go ahead and publish it, because you cannot create impact if no one's going to see that one page, right? Next, you got to borrow ideas. Learn from people you admire. Understand why something works, something does not work. Try techniques outside your comfort zone. Next, ask for feedback. Very, very important. Then comes the most important part, enter anyway. I think a lot of you do not really know this about me. Last year, I was also the runner up of the Transcritical Task Flow Challenge. And the funny thing is, I didn't even enter thinking that I'm going to win this. I was just like, oh, I like this feature. Let me just go try it out. Came across this contest, participated, built something, share my work, and unexpectedly it turned out to be a great opportunity. And then repeat. Improvement doesn't come from one moment, right? You got to keep participating. Consistency wins. So just a last advice for all of you is, don't wait for the perfect idea or the perfect dashboard. Start where you are, share whatever you're creating, and let the journey shape you. And for people who are wondering whether you should participate in the contest, I really hope you do, because you genuinely have no idea what one dashboard might take you. And that pretty much brings to my end of the slide. I want to thank all of you. And thank you, Taylor and Philippa, to invite me for being a surprise guest at this session.
Awesome. Thank you for coming in. And I believe we have one more surprise guest to talk about their story.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hello. So I'm so glad to be here today to talk about my journey through the competition. I guess I was saying in the chat, I've been submitted like 8 or 9 times in the contest. So, and I had the chance to be a finalist once. So it's really is an amazing journey. And I was just saying that actually the most difficult part, it's not building the report, but it's like hitting the button submit for the first time. And I would say it's getting easier and easier the more submission you submit. So just a little note about me. So I'm a full-time data analyst, and I'm also a full-time mom. So the people who were wondering how I can find the time to do those contests, but I'm a proof that you don't need a full hours of free time, because I don't have that, being a mom and having a full-time job. So you can just really switch a few evening from a Netflix show and then do your job as a contest participant. So in my case, what I love the most is meeting the community. Actually, it's really the big win in those contests, and I really love to see the journey of people. Your journey was amazing, Taylor, Philippa, and Lakshmi. So it's so inspiring, and we all start from somewhere. I guess if I show you some of my first report, you would be amazed that it's bad. It's really bad, but you have to start somewhere. I think we can maybe start a trend that everyone. Every expert in database show their first Power BI report to show people that we are all starting from somewhere, and sometimes it's really bad, but we keep showing up and we keep learning and we keep growing. So it's really the journey that is it's the most important one, above the winning, the win and the prize. It's really about growth and improving yourself. So, and what I love the most about the community is like I'm considered now an expert, but I really like that when people get into on LinkedIn and send me some messages to, oh, why did you do that? Or what can I learn? And then I'm so pleased to respond to those messages and get some wisdom and some advice to the people.
Awesome. Thank you for your story. And I'm not sure I want to share my first report. It's not good, but I love the idea of the trend. So that brings us nicely into a challenge here for the audience. So your first contest game plan. Pick something that sounds fun, Spend 30 minutes exploring it, build something small, and then submit it. Whether you're proud of it or not, whether you think it's winning material or not, whether you're happy with it or not, submit it anyway. Just submit it and see what happens. And then step 5, which is the most important step, learn. Learn from it. Look at what other people have done. Improve. Go through that cycle and just get better and better and better the more that you do it. And that brings us up to a nice closing. So I want to mention again the Power BI Data Viz World Championship, and I'll let Philippa say a few words.
Yeah, I would just encourage you guys to check it out. Make sure, first of all, make sure you're part of Fabric Data Days. Make sure you're signing up for your free certs. Make sure you go to Data Viz World Champs and sign up and get involved. And, just again, commit to just reading the instructions, reading the deadline, get clear on what it is, what it's about, when it's due, and then, figure out how you can time block it and get involved. And if for some reason you really can't do this one, you can still share it with others that it's happening. Let your community know. And if you can do it, just jump right in. And if not this, then the next, or if this, and also the next. And I guess there's 3 ways we'll kind of leave it with. There's different mantras. 1, your first one is your worst one. So sometimes it's just get it out of the way. And in martial arts, we call it eat bitter, and or invest in loss. Just get started. Then there's also, it could be beginner's luck. You could just knock it out of the park. Sometimes it's about who enters. Sometimes it's just you could have an amazing entry or modest entry, but it's really based on how many people entered. And then there's always, it just kind of falls somewhere in the middle. But keep going. Thank you for being here, and I'm so excited to see what you guys all build. And I'll be looking closely at the upcoming contests for myself to participate and amplify, but also at the entries that are published.
Yeah, thank you all for joining, and I look forward to seeing all your entries in the upcoming contests.
Thank you all for joining, and thanks again to our speakers. We're always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find our survey link on the screen or in the chat, and we'll see you at the next one.